Hello everyone, welcome to our second episode of Advanced Learning Module. Today, we have Alberto from DeFi Talks to discuss the present and future of Web3 marketing. Alberto is an entrepreneur, popularizer, and university professor in marketing and business development. He has been following the blockchain industry since 2013, and in 2021, he founded a YouTube channel, DeFi Talks. Today, he's engaged in the creation of training content and tools useful for making the crypto and DeFi world with everyone's reach. This is a fascinating topic to me, and marketing is crucial to the success of a crypto project. Welcome, Alberto. The floor is yours.
Hi, guys, and thank you, Jimmy, for the presentation, and welcome everyone to this session. What we will do together today is talking about the Web3 and more specifically, the marketing. What I want to start with is addressing something that from one side, someone can say that is for granted. But the reality is that when it comes to cryptos, it is about really understanding the details, because this market is right now just a niche. So we are really small, but it's growing. And that's the reason why we are investing our time and we are looking for investors and we are building something to attract more people. The point is that, and I want to show you something. If you have to choose among the different images, which of them, in your opinion, is the one that is describing at best the crypto market? Because usually when we talk about cryptos, most people are thinking as the market something that will simply grow exponentially, because it is a technology that has a proven utility, and it can literally create value for everyone. So usually, most of the people are answering the first one. Or in case someone else is saying, yes, that's true, but right now I want to just focus on getting a bigger market share. So many are saying the third one. The reality is that even if it could be like weird, the real figure is the second one. It is a diamond. It's a diamond from one side because we are really facing something that can have an incredible value. But from the other side is because if we analyze the market, how it really works, we have from one side, on the vertical side, we have a market growth. So it means the market size. How big is the market? And on the horizontal line, we have the number of competitors. The point is that the bigger is the market becoming, the more competitors are coming into the market until a certain point. As you can see, the upper part of this diamond is obviously shrinking. It means simply that in that time, less competitors are remaining to the market because there are the winners. And at the end, that's something that is not applying just for the crypto market. That's something that is generally speaking. Generally speaking, all the markets are starting with someone that is starting like the spark that is starting everything. But after that, more competitors, seeing that more people are getting interested into the topic, are starting to get in to the industry. On the other side, when the industry is becoming big enough, instead of increasing the number of competitors that are into, the reality is that they are diminishing. And the reason is because the attention is polarized into the leader, into the alternative, and sometimes also something else that is the cheapest one. For which reasons I'm telling you? For the simple reason that this is something so important if we want to start understanding how we should set up our marketing communication strategy and so on. As you can see from the red line, we are here. So it means that in this moment, we are just in a phase where the market is really still small and where more competitors have to get in. It means that our effort shouldn't be just like on getting more market share, and neither just into the exponential growth, because right now we are just in a phase where we need, yes, to increase the market, but at the same time, we want to build a competitive advantage against our competitors. So it is like a situation that is quite intriguing and at the same time quite difficult. If we use the same kind of shape to analyze also our customer, what we understand is that what is below our red line are people that are already aware. So their level of awareness is quite high. So they are already used to use crypto protocols, to what is a blockchain, and so on. On top of that, it is the majority of the available market. It is about people that are still unaware of what is a blockchain. But what is even worse is that people that are unaware are not just unaware what is the blockchain. Most of the time, they are still wondering, oh my God, but why we need the blockchain? So the reason why I'm showing you this chart is simply because when we talk about marketing communication, we talk about something that is much broader than just plug and play something that can work and acquire for your customers. The first thing to understand is that we have a double challenge. That is, from one side, we need to grow the market. On the other side, we need to grow our competitive advantage. And we have to set up our communication based on who are the people that we are addressing. Because as we said, in the moment when we are increasing our market share, we are talking with people that most of the time are having a level of awareness that is quite high, or at least higher. And we can talk to them in a certain way. Don't worry if you are missing something or if you're wondering, but practically speaking, what does it mean and how should I apply this? We will go through it in a moment. Right now, what I really care is to make clear the market is something that we are building, because as I'm saying here, we are here to create the Web3 market. The Web3 market is something that it is up on us. Up on us is not just building the best user experience, the best tool that is able to create value. The point is that it's up on us also to grow the market and to understand that in the moment when we are talking to someone that has a certain kind of level of awareness, so it is someone that is already into the crypto space, we have to use a certain kind of communication. In the moment when we have to talk with someone else that is not yet into the industry, we need to change completely. And what I'm seeing, because what I'm doing right now, I'm a content creator on YouTube, also on Twitter. I'm writing for Cointelegraph, and I spent the last 1 to 2 years within this kind of direction. And I have been talking with around 200, 300 different projects, because that's beautiful, specifically when it comes to the bull run. Everyone want to jump in, everyone has money, and they want to invest, they want to acquire. The point is that most of the time, obviously, because we are always in a rush, because there is also the need to deliver something. But if we don't understand why we are doing something, are we doing something for growing our market share, or are we doing something for the long run? Because at the end of the story, if we don't build a market, with the Web3 market, if we are not really able to communicate and to make clear to our audience why the Web3 market is here to stay, well, that's a big problem, because obviously people will not get in. And it doesn't matter. We can fight for our small market share, but it will make no difference. So just to summarize, we're in a market that has to grow. Our goal is, from one side, growing our market share, on the other side, building the market. According to which target we are talking, we need to change also our kind of communication, which kind of words we are using, and so on. Going on, what I want to present to you are 4 pillars for a successful marketing. And as you will see, it's nothing about theory. It's something that is much more practical. And that's the reason why I want to start saying the first tip, the first suggestion I want to tell you is, don't copy. And the reason why I'm saying don't copy when it comes to the crypto market is that when it comes to the blockchain, everything is open. It takes literally a moment to fork something, to create a protocol, an application that is almost the same of something else. And what is another thing that we are not getting, and that's the reason why also I'm using as a background curve, is that we are simply copying something just because we have seen it working. And the case of Curve is beautiful, because the kind of interface that they have been using, the UI that have been created, that's amazing. It's something that is that has a specific kind of message and has a specific reason why it has been successful. We have to remember that, as we were saying before, there was at the beginning a kind of target, kind of audience that was just about people that were quite nerdy, people that are technical, that were developers, and they were used to this kind of interface. So seeing it like a service, using it in a way that weren't the normality, because if you're using any kind of application in any kind of other industry, what you will see is a cool interface. You will see a modern interface. On the other side, using this kind of interface, and I'm referring to the interface, the classic one, because the new one, at least in my opinion, that's something that is, well, it's not even classic, so it doesn't have an identity, and at the same time, it's not even modern. So it's like the middleman that is not so strong. On the other side, when they started, the kind of brand identity that they presented was amazing, because they were talking to a specific target that were nerdy, people that were spending time developing. So it was for that audience, and it was perfect. The reason why I'm saying not just copying is that if you are copying something because for the own reason that you have seen it succeeding into the past, well, that is a big danger, because the reality is that you don't know. If you don't understand why something has been working and why something is not, you can't take a decision. I want to give you another example of another protocol that was successful in copying and has been able to attract a lot of people. I don't know if you have been following the DeFi space in the last couple of years, but one of the protocols that has been able to attract more people was Wonderland Money. Wonderland Money was just a copycat of Olympus DAO. Nothing new. But what I understood is that, well, the same kind of experience could be the perfect match for the people that are looking for to be, or better, for people that are sensitive to the kind of becoming rich faster. That's a kind of dream. That's a kind of something that all of us are having inside as an intimate desire to become rich with the shortcut. And Wonderland Money with Daniela Sesta and the whole team, they have been able to get that point in a way that was incredible. I'm not here to judge if the protocol was good or not. I'm just here to say, copy is not a good idea if you are copying without knowing why you are copying and how it applies to your audience. You can copy nothing bad, because as I just showed you, there is an example that you can copy with success, with succeeding, but at the same time, you need to understand. And it's not just a matter, okay, we have the money, we have a good technology, we can make it better. It's not about making it better. And I want to give you an example from another industry. I don't know if you ever heard about WeThings. WeThings was, but it is still a wearable device company that around 2018 was acquired by Nokia. I was a customer of WeThings and I was really loving their products. But I was quite skeptical because I was thinking, why Nokia? Nokia to me is still just a mobile company. It's not just for me, because we need to remember that it's not just I'm thinking this way, the other people are thinking in another way. We are all into the same market, and this market is about human beings. Human beings are having a mind, and our psychology, our mind is working in the same way for all of us. We have some kind of something that can work and something else that is not. For example, we are used to associate each thing to a meaning. And that's the reason why when WeThings was acquired, I was thinking, okay, but to me, Nokia is still has the same meaning of just a mobile phone. I'm not feeling comfortable of thinking it as a wearable device that should be something innovative. But at the end, I said, okay, well, maybe they will simply put money and maybe WeThings could be even better, even if just into the brand, into the company of Nokia. But what they said at the end of the story changed everything. Instead of keeping the brand of WeThings, they decided to call it Nokia Health. And guess what? Not even a couple of years later, the company simply failed. And what happened is that the previous founder, the founder of WeThings, simply bought back its own company. Why? Because it's not about money. It's not even about improving the technology. It's much more about how people are perceiving what you are offering. Our mind works in boxes. I have a box where I'm putting everything that is connected to a specific topic, a specific company, a specific concept. If you are trying to call the same concept that is in my box on the right, let's say, calling it on the left, I will not able to recall to match, even if you're saying something right, and even if you're trying to improve the kind of concept. And the same story happened many times into the history. I will just mention the case of Kodak. I don't know how many of you know, but Kodak created the digital camera. But as we all know, at the end of the story, Kodak lost the kind of battle into the digital camera industry, failing and declaring bankruptcy. Because again, it's not about copy, it's not about having more money, it's not about technology, it's about perception. And the case of Curve that we have seen just a moment ago was perfect because it was talking exactly to a specific kind of audience. Going on, I want to connect to another topic, is don't cheat. What does it mean, don't cheat, and why I think that when it comes to the crypto market is so important? Because the reality is that there are many ways that you can cheat, let's say in this way, and succeed really easily. Think about it. And that's something that I have seen it many times also from different so-called influencers that are taking the shortcuts, and the same way also the company that is taking the shortcut. It's pretty easy if you want to succeed. What you have to do is simply give 100K to any kind of influencer with a decent audience. Tell him to go on the channel and say, guys, I'm buying this 100K and I'm holding. At the same time, on another wallet, send him something as a reward. And you can say to him, okay, man, you have to keep your money into your wallet for at least 1 to 2 years, and keep talking about that at the end of the story, at the end of the year, so you can simply keep your money. And on the other side, you will get also from us another kind of reward. It takes really 5 minutes, and that's something that is happening. What's the problem? The problem is that this is a shortcut that in the long term will not work, for the simple reason that you can fork anything. You can't even get visibility. But if you don't understand what really makes the difference, you will fail anyway. And on the other side, the big limit when it comes to the blockchain is that everything is transparent. And even if the kind of audience, the average, because obviously I'm just talking general, in a general way, each of you has its own audience, and each audience has its own peculiarities, its own way of doing the different things. And you have obviously to understand what apply to your own audience. But at the same time, the kind of dynamics are always the same, because on the other side, doesn't matter if it is, on the other side you have someone that is just a cashier, of someone that has been the director for its own life, if he is rich or if he is poor. It doesn't change. Obviously, the needs are changing, and you can change the communication in terms of what you are prioritizing and how you are communicating, because maybe a kind of narrative applies better to someone instead of someone else. But at the end of the story, we are all humans, and we are reacting in the same way to the same kind of stimulus. So you can re-elaborate the same kind of strategy for anyone. So when I'm saying don't cheat, I'm saying don't use influencer in the wrong way. The influencer, and I'm saying that because I spent around 10, 15 years into the startup space. I had my own marketing agency. I had been working with different kind of brands. And in the moment when I jump into full-time as a content creator, as an influencer, the crypto market, I was literally shocked, because it's a completely different world from what I was expecting and from what is happening usually in other industries. And the reason is simply because, and that's the reason why also at the beginning, I started with the current state of the art of the crypto market, because the crypto market is so young and is already moving so much money. And when a market is growing so fast, it's moving so much money, what is happening is most of the time, the chaos, because simply protocols are contacting any kind of influencer offering money. And what you need to understand, and that's something that we will come in a second, because what I'm going to talk right now is about measuring and having a strategy. It is so important, even if you can say, okay, it's obvious, I need to measure and I need to have a strategy. Yeah, I know that it's obvious in theory, but one story is the theory, another story is applying it into the crypto market. A market is going so fast and it's evolving in a way that is unbelievable. And in the moment when you have the kind of rush, the urgency of getting more users on board, because that's what is happening during the bull run. All of us are knowing that during a bull run, you need users because that's the moment when you are making the customer acquisition. So you need to be ready for that kind of situation. But you need to have a strategy, exactly as when you want to trade. You need to have already decided, okay, that's what I'm seeing on the chart. That's the kind of hypothesis I have. That's the kind of take profit, stop losses I wanna put, and that are the conditions that maybe can push myself to change my own strategy. And the same applies to the crypto market. I'm making the analogy with the trading world for the simple reason that the kind of driver that is changing everything is the same: rushing and emotions. When we are working into the marketing, into the crypto space, not like any other industry, you are running out of time. Crypto is going so fast that you have to take a decision quickly. So that's the reason why it's so important to have a plan in advance instead of just saying, okay, maybe I will try, and after that I will think about, okay, I will try to talk with a couple of influencers and I will see what is happening. Or maybe I can work with a marketing agency that can support me into that. It's not like that. I can assure you that I have been working with dozens of different marketing agencies into the crypto market. And most of the time, the situations are crazy. They don't even know who they are working with. It happened also that I was supposed to talk with a person that simply disappeared. And a couple of weeks after, I had already a video ready to be published. The manager called me and said to me, did you ever heard again from this man? I said, no, why? Because he disappeared. And I'm not giving this example to tell you that some agency is bad or good. I'm simply telling you that this industry is growing so fast that what in other industry is not happening because are going slower. When it comes to the crypto market, everything is rushing like nothing else. So that's the reason why planning in advance and deciding exactly, okay, what I want to do and having a clear time frame. Do you remember the beginning when we were saying about, okay, we have from one side to talk to the people that are already into this market, and on the other side, we need to grow the market. These are two kind of time frames that should go on the same plan of strategy, on the same table. You should take consideration them together. Obviously, you will act in a different ways according to which goal you are pursuing, but you need to start working on that from the beginning. At the same time, you need to have KPIs. So something that is giving you a benchmark, something that is telling you, okay, if it's something is happening, that's something for me is acceptable, it's something that is not, and so on. Obviously, you need also to understand it, to set up and to change your measures according to which is the current market that you are facing. Because, for example, one story is working into a bear market, and another story is working during a bull run. What is beautiful is that during the bear market, nobody wanna do marketing. Nobody has a penny to do marketing. And that's even fine, but it's like just sleeping for a couple of years without doing anything. Yes, you are developing the technology, but the reality is that we are still in the same situation as at the beginning. We need more people into the market. We need them. And it's about also someone that has to take charge. And as we will discover together, that's something that we have to do together, because the market is something that we have to build. It's in us as operators. You have your own company, you have your own channel, whatever you're doing. It's about us if we want this industry to succeed, because also there are many misunderstandings when we talk about this industry. If you ask to even half of the people that are already investing into the crypto space, asking them what is a blockchain, they don't know. What is the real utility of a blockchain? They will tell you, I don't know, it's I want to earn money, and that's perfectly fine. But on the other side, that is showing us also a big lack of communication in the right way from the whole industry. So just to summarize, first of all, the blockchain is giving us the opportunity to copy anything. And it's nothing bad to copy that, as long as you are copying it with a strategy, with a specific reason that you know, okay, my audience has this kind of way of doing, thinking, and so on. And this kind of technology that I'm forking, that I'm copying, is the best fit, the best match for them. The kind of UI, the kind of communication that's perfect for them. And it's not just based on the hypothesis, okay, it was successful in the past, and it will be again also in the future. Don't cheat. There are many kinds of shortcuts. You can even, another thing that I have seen many times is continuous pivoting. It's great to pivot, but on the other side, again, exactly as we were saying a moment ago, you need to pivot with a plan in your mind, not just following a trend. I have seen many protocols going from being something to become simply a GMX fork. Everything, I'm perfectly fine with that, as long as you are knowing that you are sacrificing completely the long run in favor of the short run. You need to know why you are doing something. There are shortcuts of any kind. You can take any of them, but you need to answer to yourself, honestly, why I'm doing that. Is it something that is rewarding me right now? What is the kind of time frame that I have? Maybe it's just a couple of months. So I want to just take the maximum out from that, and that's perfectly fine. But you need to adapt based on that. Once you have clear in your mind who you are, who is your target, you need to start taking into account how to build a strategy. In order to build a strategy, you need to define the time frame, long, short term, and you need to decide KPIs. Practically speaking, what does it mean? We can summarize the whole concept into two words. From one side, simplify, and on the other side, educate. Why simplify? Why educate? Simplify for the simple reason that people are loving things that are simple. But what does it mean, something that is simple? Many times, specifically when it comes to communicate, many people are misunderstanding the concept of simplification and using it as I have to create a content that should be short because people don't have time to read, to watch, to listen, and so on. But think about how much time people on average are spending on Netflix or on YouTube watching completely useless videos and so on. Well, an insane amount of time. And the point is that it's not about time. It's not about the length of what you are producing. It's about how you're able to engage with your audience. That's the reason why I'm saying here, you have to flirt with the mind of your customers. You need to get inside of the mind of the people that you want to talk, that you want to acquire, because it's only if you understand really what they want, which kind of language they are using. As we have seen before, the curve interface were perfect for that kind of audience and for that kind of market in that moment. But it doesn't mean that kind of solution is the perfect solution for any kind of situation. There are a group of people that could work that kind of solution. There are others that is not working. So you need really to understand that the first thing is understanding. And when you have understood, you have to start setting up your narrative. Because also when it comes to succeeding, marketing, building a company, is about creating the right narrative around the right story that is behind your brand. And that's something that is of absolute importance, because otherwise, for which reason people will remember your company? It's not just about the tech. And I want to give you this example, because at the end of the story, if you think about what we have to do the marketing, what is about, is just replicating what is natural for all of us, or at least what was natural for all of us when we were just kids. Think about, if you had to convince your dad or your mom to buy you a motorbike, would you ever started telling her or him, oh, mom, look, this motorbike has this kind of power and so on? Obviously not, because the tech part is not useless. Obviously, your mom would be worried if you are buying a motorbike that is safe and has certain kind of specifics and so on. But the reality is that if you want to convince someone, you need to understand is, okay, for which reason my father or my mom could say, okay, maybe it's time for you to have a motorbike. So maybe you can tell them, oh, I'm sorry that every time you have to come taking me up and so on. Maybe you could save time. Maybe you could find some time to go out with your friends and so on, if just I had a motorbike. That's a completely different way of talking. And as you can see, this kind of example is the exact meaning of flirting with your customer mind. So it means you get into the mind of your customers. You need to understand what they are thinking, why they are thinking something, and you have to use their patterns that are already into their mind and just readapting them to your product. And that's so important, because what I'm seeing also when it comes to educating, that is the other word that is so important. And why it's so important, educating? Well, simply because, as we said at the beginning, the market is still just a niche. And if the market is still just a niche, it means that many people don't know about what is crypto, DeFi, blockchain, and so on. And we need to educate. And I have seen many people, many startups, companies, investing so much time building incredible encyclopedias about explaining any kind of stuff about the blockchain. It's full of this kind of contents. Unfortunately, it's not working. Why? Because people want to enjoy their time. They are not lacking of time. They are lacking of content that is engaging enough. We need to understand why people could be interested in something, and we need to adapt to them. That's the reason why I put the image of a kid behind that is simply jumping in some kind of water, that also in Iceland, this kind of behavior is called hopipolla. And it's amazing how to see different kind of cultures are using different kind of words to describe something. The reason why it's so important understanding the kid is because we need to start educating people, not like giving for granted that they will understand the value of the technology that we are offering to them. The reality is that most of the people outside from the operators into the market are not understanding for which reason they should start using this kind of stuff. And in the same way that in a moment when you want to teach something to your kid, you will ever start talking with something technical, something that is telling him how good you have been, that you have been working for several years. It's something that is completely useless. The kid will never ask you how many transactions a blockchain is able to process. It's useless. The kid will ask you which kind of problem is solving, which kind of advantage, which kind of benefit, which kind of fun I will have if I'm doing this that you are proposing to me. And most of all, the kid doesn't want you to tell him. The kid wants to feel it, want to enjoy, want to live it. And the same kind of experience, we need to recreate that into the crypto market. I don't know if I have been clear on that. If you have any question, feel free to ask, and I will be more than welcome to clarify that, because the topic about educating people is so important. Is really understanding people, but also companies, because also we are in the moment, historical moment, when this kind of technology could be applied to solve many problems also into corporations, small, medium enterprises, and so on. But the point is that we need to help them to understand why this kind of solution could bring them value. And we need to start talking their language, using their experiences and their problems. And as long as we are not able to do that, we will still struggling to give them, from one side, the opportunity to understand, and on the other side, the whole industry will struggle to grow. Because if from one side we have still traditional media that are saying something that most of the time completely doesn't make any sense, because they are simply saying it doesn't have a social utility. Well, guys, we all know that the crypto DeFi is something that is also bringing services for 2 billion of unbanked or underserved people all around the globe. So there are different utilities, but as if even right now, after more than 10 years of crypto industry, there are many people that are missing this kind of concept. It means that, yes, from one side, they are fighting us, but on the other side, we are also getting wrong something from the narrative, for the kind of storytelling that we are using when it comes to explaining them for which reason it's so important. And I want to close with a last thought, and it's about working together. If we want to grow this industry, it's not just about the effort of a single group of people. It's not just about the effort of a single company, and neither of a single content creator. I'm seeing many times when it comes to marketing, companies that are always using this kind of beautiful sentence. Yeah, I want to collaborate you for the long term. Well, that's amazing in theory, because we all know that a single shot of content creation or whatever it is, the single marketing activity will never work. That's the reason why previously we were talking about a strategy, having a plan, and plan requires a time frame, as we have said. And a plan with a time frame obviously has different kind of activities, different kind of contents, actions, and so on. But even so, when it comes to the action, so doing things, most of the startups, most of the companies, crypto companies, are using the sentence, we wanted long-term collaborations and so on. But at the end of the story, what they care in that moment is maximizing their exposure in that moment. And that's something that is completely understandable. As we said a moment ago, that's something that is peculiar of the crypto market. It is going so fast that, well, we need to take action right now. And maybe sometime we are forgetting about the long run. And when it comes to the bear market, that's the time that we can start thinking for the long term. Well, we are shrinking the communication effort for the simple reason that we don't have any more budget. That's understandable again. But we need to have a plan that is also taking account that. And we can work together, because if we put together the effort of different companies, different content creators, we can build something amazing, because at the end of the story, people have time. It's just a matter to create something that is able to bring more people on board into the market and helping them to understand what really does it mean, cryptos, DeFi, or any kind of product that you are building. That was my last slide. So right now I'm open to take any kind of question. And additionally, you can always also contact me on my channels. Into the chat, you should have my link tree. You can reach me on Telegram, YouTube, Twitter. I'm active on the different channels. And if you want to also discuss opportunity to build something, educate something, that's so important, because again, it's only working together that we can build this industry. Otherwise, the single effort, yes, it could produce some kind of result, but in the whole picture, it doesn't make so difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Alberto. Very fascinating. So people, please type into your any question like in the chat box, and we will select a few of them to answer. And actually, I have a few questions from myself, Alberto. So in your experience, what would be like the most efficient channel like in crypto marketing? So, like which channels like personally is your favorites?
That's a big question. Honestly speaking, it really depends which kind of content you want to produce. Probably the fastest one is Twitter, even if it doesn't give you the opportunity to go too much in depth of the content. So that's the reason why I rather prefer to talk on YouTube, because I have more time to explain. But as always, it's much more the combination of different channels, because you can start, as we said, it's a matter of increasing the awareness of our audience. In the moment of when the people are getting aware that they have a problem, well, suddenly they are also starting to say, oh my God, maybe I should dedicate some more time to the topic. So it's literally a matter of increasing their level of awareness. So yes, it's important to use Twitter for something that is faster. On the other side, it's also important to work with medias and having some kind of initiatives. And again, when it comes to events, initiatives should be something that is not just for us. I'm seeing so many events that are beautiful, but are just for us. And we don't need this kind of events. We are already aware of what is a blockchain and what are the opportunities. We need more people to get into, and we need to create events for them, initiatives for them. So again, a cross-channel strategy, that's the only one that can work, obviously, according to which is the kind of level of awareness of your audience. A platform could work better than the other one.
Got it. Thank you. So for those people who want to start their career as an influencer, like for example, like do you have any like tips for them that where can they get started?
Well, absolutely. And it would be beautiful. What I can say is, guys, if you want to become an influencer, please don't shield and don't cheat, because the same story that applies for brands, it applies also for influencers. It is full of shortcuts of different kind of ways that you can grow faster. And I will publish just in a couple of days a video about the different strategies from the marketing point of view, for which reason, I don't know, BitBoy, Coin Bureau, or all the other Altcoin Daily and all the other big channels, why they have succeeded and what has been the trigger that have been also able to drive their success. And also from my side in that video, also speaking about my mistakes, because as always, this market is going so fast that even if you know the theory, sometimes you are making mistakes. And in my case, in that specific moment, I started to create content just at the end of the bull run. So also for me, it was a continuous rushing. And looking back, I am aware that from the communication point of view, from the branding point of view, I missed a couple of points that's so important to taking care, and you should decide them in advance, because the moment when you are into the action, well, it's going so fast. So if someone want to start, you need to be persistent and coherent to your identity. You need to create value, and you need to be patient, because it requires a lot of time to get the visibility that sometimes you are deserving. Maybe it could take you 1 week, maybe even 6 months. So you need to be aware of that. You don't have just to be discouraged. Oh my God, I'm not getting views, I'm not getting interaction, and so on. That's a process. As any process, you don't know in which moment you will get the big pump. Also, it's not just about the price, but also for your own visibility, because we need to remember that Twitter, YouTube, and any social is just about the algorithm. So you need to start thinking exactly how the algorithm is working. And on the other side, you need also to be coherent. Why? Because the algorithm is working based on the audience that you are getting, that you have. And if you start getting one time a certain kind of audience, the day after another one, at the end of the story, your conversion rate will go down, for the simple reason that when you are changing kind of approach, not all the people are responding in the same way. So that's the reason why it's so important to be coherent, persistent, and understanding how the algorithm is working. And as I said previously, I will repeat because it's so important. Guys, don't shill, because it's not good, not even for the industry. Yes, maybe you can make a lot of money. That's true, because publishing something every day, 100x, 1000x, 10x, become rich, and so on. Yes, you can get views for the simple reason because people are always looking for the shortcut. But it's detrimental for all of us at the end of the story. Honestly speaking, I don't get so much satisfaction on just shilling stuff. It's not even useful, but that's just my personal opinion.
Thank you. I think it's really valuable to the industry. We have a few questions from the audience. So if you could go to the Q&A box, so you will see questions here. Maybe you can start to address some of them.
Absolutely. Could you share your experience to people from different geographic areas, Asia and so on? Well, that's a pretty interesting question, because what I saw is that obviously the United States market, on the American one, is the market that most of the time, at least what is my experience, companies are looking for, because yes, the kind of value of each customer could be higher. But what I'm seeing is that there is a lot of interest also in all the different other markets. Right now, I'm living here in Singapore. I'm coming from Italy, so I'm coming from Europe. And I can tell you that all across the globe where I have been, and also from the people that from my audience, what I'm seeing is that there is interest in any kind of part of the world. Not to mention that I was saying previously, when it comes to DeFi, cryptos, this is a technology that is helping a lot of people having financial services that until a moment ago, they hadn't. That's the reason why many countries that are having the highest level of penetration are Nigeria, India, Pakistan, and so on. And I'm not seeing so many companies that are telling, let's create something just for that market. And it would be beautiful, because there is not so much offer in terms of content, in terms of literally helping them to get on board and to start also understanding how to use this content. I had also a beautiful chat with a guy from Africa, and they were interested in building something, but they were lacking from one side instruments, from the other side also the support of a corporation. So I think that the kind of marketing is still the same, because again, we are all in the same market. It's about the market of human beings. Humans, it doesn't matter if they are from Asia, United States, Africa, or whatever they are all humans there, and they are reacting in the same way to different kind of inputs. For example, it's about hormones. Hormones, that's something that is working in the same way for all of us. Hormones, what does it mean? Simply, when you are producing oxytocin, that is something that has been demonstrated that people are producing oxytocin just reading a Twitter post. And oxytocin is the same kind of hormone that you are producing in the moment when you are receiving a hug. So it's like being hugged, receiving a certain kind of appreciation on Twitter. So understanding that in the moment when you are communicating, you are changing the level of hormones of your audience. That's something that's so important, because according to which is the kind of hormone that they have into their body into that moment, the way they are taking decisions is changing. So from this point of view, this is something that is universal. It doesn't matter which market you are addressing. On the other side, obviously, different markets are using different kind of languages. And that's specifically true if you do want to address people that are already into the crypto space. If you want to address people that are already into crypto space, I'm not seeing so much different from talking from someone from Singapore, from Thailand, from Poland, from Africa, or Brazil. It doesn't change so much. Another story, if we want to acquire new people that are not yet into the industry, and according to which kind of reality they are living, obviously, we need to adapt our storytelling and our narrative. So from this point of view, yes, you need to change. Obviously, it really depends what you want to do and which is the market you are moving in. So this one is about for Okay, I have been struggling with the labor market for Web3 marketing. I ended up trying to grow Web3 marketing guy from a traditional market. Where good Web3 marketing people can be found? That's an amazing question. The reality is that there aren't. There are not people, experienced people, because the big point is that you can find people good into the marketing, but is that the kind of dynamics from the traditional market are different from the crypto market. Because as I said before, this market is going so fast and it is putting us a lot of pressure. That's the reason why it's so important to have a plan in advance. So really the best way, but also I know that it is also a big investment for you to invest your time to educate someone. So that's something that you need to trust, that you think that could be a good fit. Or on the other side, what could be a good strategy? Talk with influencers. They have, not all of them, because most of them are people that are having no marketing experience at all. You need to understand, but that's something that you, if you have some kind of marketing experience in the moment when you talk with someone, you have the awareness if they have some kind of clue. And maybe talking with them could be a good point. But that's a big challenge. Also, another way you can simply talk with people that are more active into a Discord group, into a Telegram group, because you need not only the skills, but you need also the attitude. And you need to find this kind of match. But I know that's not easy. And that's also the reason why when I was talking about agency, most of the time I have not a great experience from that side, is because the kind of people that are working into this industry are or too young or too junior or they don't have an understanding. So it's not always easy to start talking about anything. Also, I would be more than happy in the moment when someone is contacting me, instead of just creating a video, let's talk about the strategy. Let's try a way to, I can help you. But you need to give me the tools and the opportunity to do that. Otherwise, yes, I can create any kind of content you want, as long as it's educational and not shilling. But yeah, it's just a shame because we are wasting an opportunity. So also in the moment when you talk with someone, if you see that on the other side, there is the attitude and it looks like some kind of skills it's available, try to engage them. Because what is the beauty about the crypto space is that people are always open to collaborate, to explain you, to dedicate time. And that's something that not in many other industries is something that you will find. I have been working with the fashion industry, and that's insanely competitive, and there isn't any kind of collaboration is available. When it comes to crypto, at least from this side, well, that's pretty cool. So going on, for marketers in Web3, do you, sorry, I just lost the question. Do you think Web2 marketers perform better than Web3 natives, such as those who enter into this industry after graduation without too much? Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely true. At the end of the story, you need to have an experience on understanding how our mind is working, because as we said, it's everything about understanding how we think. Because if you have an understanding of that, well, even if you don't understand DeFi, or even if you don't understand cryptos or blockchain or whatever, you can have a side of you, someone that can tell you. But the kind of storytelling that you can use, that you have to use, well, that's universal. So yes, I would rather prefer someone that has experience in marketing, that is really good market, but again, should be something really good, because otherwise I prefer to speak with someone that at least has the attitude, because the beauty of people that are into the crypto space is that they are really having a big enthusiasm, a big energy. And also it makes a difference, because if you are just doing your work like, yeah, I'm boring, I need to make some money, I need to work and so on. Yeah, it can work for operative tasks, but at the end of the story, it's not what you need, because we are here to build an industry. And if you don't have the energy, the attitude to do that, well, it can work, but it is unlikely. Okay. Also, could you please suggest a Web3 marketing community to join, to share ideas and build a vision together? Well, there are too many, to be fair, because, or better, I don't know any specific Web3 marketing just vertical on that. Because at the end of the story, communities are much more about topics, about ecosystems, and so on. A good tool for communities, or at least something that I like it, is Crew3, even if it's just about more about brands that are sharing. Honestly speaking, I don't know any specific community that I can suggest to you to join. What I can suggest to you, according to where you live, go around and talk to people at meetups, present yourself, introduce, or just write to someone that you think could be interesting for you. It is, again, an industry that we are just building right now. So if it's something that you are don't finding, maybe it could be an idea to start running something like that. Generally speaking, what you can do is talking with anyone, because communities are popping out every day, and we need more people that are active into this way. How to start from zero and how can get more views on your contents. Do you mean from a point of view of a brand or a content creator? Because from one side is almost the same thing, but the kind of strategies could change a little bit. If you're talking about as a brand, so as a company that want to attract more people, well, you need to understand two things, as we said. Who is your customer? So the people that you are already interact with, so the people that are following you on that channel. And that's so important. Also, that's the reason why it's not working buying simply views or buying likes and so on. Yes, because you will have more followers maybe, but at the end of the story, what is happening is that the algorithm is penalizing you for the simple reason that fake accounts are not interacting with you. So you will have some kind of engagement ratio that is lower, a click-through rate that is lower. And if it is lower, well, you are not the favorite of any kind of social media. So the first thing that you need to understand when it comes to getting views is which are the people that are following you, that are your base layer of audience. What you can do in order to get more visibility? Well, you need to understand where are your customers. So the people that you would like to have into your own channels, where they are staying, what they are doing. Maybe they are going, I'm just doing an example, it's not applying to that, but just to give you the way of thinking. If all of them are just going to a specific gym, well, all you have to do is just go to that gym and speak there and tell them, explain them why you are great, engage with them and bring them into your own channel. So it's just a matter of understanding who is your customer. If your customers are VCs, you need to use a specific kind of ways, much more probably offline. If your customer is retailers, well, you have another kind of customer, which is the age of your customer, which is the kind of expenditure that they can have. How much money do they have? Because obviously, according to which is the profile of the person that you are talking with, you need to change the way of getting views. Generally speaking, it applies exactly as what I said previously. And it's about, you have to flirt with the mind of your customers, of the people that you want to interact with. And flirting means literally getting into their mind. If you don't like the word flirt, use the word explain to a kid, because at the end of the story, the big problem that we have most of the time is that we think that we are all grown up. So we are big and we should be able to understand. The reality is that being a kid is not just about having an age that is below 10. Being a kid is simply don't having the experience, the understanding to get the full picture about something. So I need to use a kind of storytelling that is helping you to understand the value, what I'm doing. That is nothing about your tech. It's about what I'm able to understand and to perceive. Because the rule number one when it comes to marketing is that the market is just about perception. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. What it matters is what people are perceiving about what you do, about who you are. Hope that I answered. If you want any specification, write here or contact me in private, and I'll be more than welcome to answer to you. Do you recommend us to experiment singular strategy or better combination of strategy in the beginning? Would this apply to investment point of view for angel investor? Would this apply to, well, it really depends again, what is the goal, what is the budget, how many shots do you have? So it's really difficult to answer without the context. Generally speaking, it's a trial and error process. There is no person in the world that can suggest you the secret sauce that will succeed 100%. The reality is that even the best one can just have a general idea about what can work and what not, and why. But it doesn't mean that it will go in this way. So what you need is to try. And again, as I was telling you into the slides, measure. You can try whatever you want, but you need to have in place in advance a way to measure what you are doing, and you need to have a specific goal. It's not just, I want to try something. You need to plan, having a reason why, a time frame, all the KPIs that you want to reach, and so on, and do. So there is not really something that it is at the beginning or when you are bigger, because at the end of the story, with the market is evolving so fast, we are always at the beginning. The only difference is that when you are just starting from the scratch, usually you don't have an audience, but maybe you have already your network. And I want to suggest another thing when it comes to starting from scratch. Well, a thing that I'm seeing many times is that one of the suggestions is talk with your friends and so on. Yes, I understand the point, but I can tell you that it's completely useless. You don't need your friends to start looking at your content. You need to have, obviously, if your friends are audience, so people that are the profile that you are looking for, yes, you need your friends. You need to start with your friends. But if your friends are not the people that you are looking for, why you need to start with them? You need to start with the people that are the right profile. So you need to have it clear in your mind, the profile. And you need to wonder, okay, this is the profile I want to reach. Where these people are. And according to your answer, you need to act consequently. I don't understand what you mean with what applies to investment point. If you can specify what you mean, or if I already answered, I don't know, feel free to specify whatever. What is the difference of marketing strategy between existing Web3 people and Web2 people? Well, from content channels, yes, there are some, but any Web2 marketer that has any kind of experience or analyze the market is able to understand that, I don't know, Facebook, maybe it's not the best channel, or usually people are more on Twitter or more on YouTube and so on. But again, it really depends who is the profile. So the person that you want to talk with. If your person is a rich guy that is not on average on Twitter or on YouTube, it doesn't matter that on average the industry is talking on YouTube or Twitter. You don't have to write on Twitter or YouTube. You need to go where your customer is. The main difference when it comes to Web3 and Web2 is the speed. And literally the dynamics and the fact that when we talk about cryptos, we talk about money. So when we talk about money, we have this, all the people are having this kind of urgency to find a shortcut. And this kind of temptation, that's the kind of main storytelling into any kind of project. That's also the double face of having a token. A token could be a great opportunity because you are like printing money, and printing money, giving money is a great opportunity. On the other side, it's the double face because at the moment when your token is going down to the price because it doesn't have any utility, because you have just created it just because it was free money, well, it's not working anymore, because if it is going down, people will leave your tech, even if it is good, even if your narrative is good, even if your storytelling is good, for the simple reason they are losing money. So the main point when it comes to Web3 and Web2, obviously, I'm talking generally speaking. I don't know to which kind of specific protocol, because one story is when you talk about a general purpose protocol company and so on. Another topic is when you are building something for B2B. So your customer is not anymore the guy that want to use a DeFi protocol, but is much more about something that is making more effective the way that you are managing the processes into the company. And obviously, in that case, well, I don't see any kind of difference between Web3 and Web2. It is much more about understanding that in that case, if they are not already using the blockchain, it's because they are not understanding it most of the time. They have some kind of prejudice that in their mind, an idea that you have to start with that. So you need to be aware that in the moment when we are talking to anyone, they already have their own beliefs about blockchain, about what you are offering to them. And you need to start understanding what they are believing, and you need to set up your communication, your storytelling based on that. So as we said, from B2B, that's another story. When it comes to B2C, the main difference is how fast the market is going, and the fact that we are talking about money that is changing the perception of people. Going to the last one, what do you think is the biggest difference between Web2 marketing and Web3 marketing in terms of practical skills? Well, again, B2C or B2B. So we are talking about marketing that is addressing which kind of customer. Practically speaking, when it comes to B2B, I don't see so many differences. It's much more about you need to have some kind of understanding of Web3, and you need to be good teaching. Another thing that I have seen many times with companies that I have been working with, especially when they are doing interviews and so on, they are sending to speak the boss, the leader on whatever. But you need to send the best one that is able to explain, to engage with the audience, to keep them engaged. And not all the people are able to. It's not about how good you are. The one who speaks is not always the best one in terms of technical skills, but is the person that can bring you the highest value. And as we said previously, we are not at school. We don't need to educate people as a school. We don't have to give them marks. We need to explain them, to engage them, and help them to understand that this is an opportunity. This is a situation that will not happen in another 30 years. It's something that is right now. If you get it, you have a big advantage against all of your competitors. So it's much more having this kind of problem that is about we are just at the beginning of this industry. We have to build the industry. The part of engaging, of explaining, making clear and explaining in a way that people are able to understand, which is the advantage, well, that's something that is really important. And when it comes to retail, so B2C, the difference between in practical skills, the only thing that I can say is that, as we said before, it's about money. So you need to have an understanding of how the market in terms of money is working and what are the consequences. Because if people are losing money, they can become completely irrational. And that's something that is a big limit, because people, well, when they have to buy, they are not famous to be irrational. But when it comes to money, they can become even more irrational. And that's something that you should be aware. So it's much more about awareness that in terms of practical skills. How to accelerate the entry of more people into the Web3? Well, the point is working together. So it's about creating path journeys, rewarding people, make it fun, helping them to understand really the whole story and so on. So literally, it's just a matter of collaboration and working with that kind of goal. It is full of people that are open to go into that direction, but it's something that should be also in your priorities. And if you have it in your priorities, it doesn't mean that you have to invest 100% of your budget on that. But you should have to take in account, you should work with content creators. You should have to work also with other protocols. And another thing that is the last thing that I would say for today, if you want to add anything else, feel free to contact me, contact Jimmy, and we can go on with the topic. Is the big limit when you are doing something using your own brand about trying to get more people into the industry. The big limit is that people are perceiving that, could perceive it as you are trying to sell them something. And that's a big problem. That's the reason why content creators, people that are much more neutral into the market, they have already a relationship, or they can build a relationship with an audience in a much more genuine way. Well, that's a big advantage, because the face, the kind of interaction, it's much more clean, much more natural. It's much more trustworthy. And that's something that's so important. So I really appreciate when I'm seeing companies creating a lot of content by themselves and so on. The point is that most of the time people are not appreciating it, or better, not in the full, for the simple reason they are thinking, yes, they are saying that just because they want to sell it to me. And that's a big limitation. So that's the reason why I'm saying working together with all the people that are into the industry, medias, content creators, companies, it's only through as if we act as a one that we can succeed. Thank you.